The trade deadline looming this week on Tuesday. What's the very latest?
Well, good morning, Sam. And essentially, the New England Patriots are a team to watch here leading into Tuesday. If they lose today in Buffalo, maybe they become a seller. If they win today, maybe they buy. As for the Philadelphia Eagles, tonight, they were talking to teams about Zach Ertz. But once he suffered that injury, rules barred them from trading him, so they could no longer deal him against the rules. Similar with Deshaun Jackson. And anybody who wants to come by Alshon Jeffrey, the Eagles are open to listening. As for the New York Giants, they'd be willing to trade their wide receiver, Golden Tate, veteran wide receiver, and offensive lineman Kevin Zeitler. It would be very difficult to trade Evan Ingram because obviously they want to hold on to him. But anybody who's interested in a wide receiver like Tate or Zeitler, high-priced veterans, have at it. More.
But when you mention receivers, don't mention Deshaun Watson, the Houston Texans quarterback. He already lost DeAndre Hopkins, but they have 4 receivers, including Will Fuller, Kenny Stills, Brandon Cooks, among those guys. And the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers are sitting there hoping for Fuller. I don't think he'll be the one to go, but I know this much. Deshaun Watson's never been 1-6 in his life before. He's not happy. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals, John Ross was the 9th pick in the 2017 draft. That's ahead of Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. On Friday, he made it known he wants to be traded. He's been non-productive there. He can still run in the 4.2s or 4.3s. Can they get anything for him? I doubt it. Don't look for him to be in uniform, certainly for the Cincinnati Bengals this day.
And here are some other names to watch in the trade deadline coming up. More. Ryan Kerrigan has requested a trade in Washington. Washington has told him and teams they won't deal him. Minnesota would be willing to listen to offers for their franchise safety, Anthony Harris. I think the Jets would be willing to trade anybody just about at this point in time, other than maybe Quinnen Williams. Avery Williamson is a linebacker who could draw some interest around the league more.
Well, Adam, you mentioned the Jets, and the Jets are in Kansas City today to play the Chiefs and Le'Veon Bell, the running back that they released a couple weeks ago. Now, let's remember, that was a move made because of his contract next year, which had an $8 million injury guarantee. In a way, they've done Le'Veon Bell a favor. People want to call this a revenge game. Revenge for what? For sending them to the Super Bowl champion? He might go over and thank Adam Gase after this game. But Le'Veon Bell is there. And if they want to, as you know, they're trying to evaluate Sam Darnold down the stretch, but Sam's got to do it without Le'Veon Bell. He'll show them in a Chiefs uniform, Sam, what exactly he can do, or remind them what he can do.
Yeah, no doubt some motivation, some different approaches to it mentally, of course. But it's been 19 days since he was a New York Jet. Teddy, if you're Andy Reid, I think he had 6 carries against the Broncos, 39 yards. But if in this game, how do you think they'll use him?
Yeah, so he sort of got the rust off last week with those 6 carries, but you obviously have a motivated player in Le'Veon Bell, Sam, but he is going to show his team what he can do based on how motivated the play caller is. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, okay, Le'Veon, we are with you. We want you to show them and prove a point, so let's get you 3 touchdowns. If that's the sort of combination of motivation, Le'Veon's going to have a big day. But still, Le'Veon can do a lot of things. He's only 28 years old. I mean, this guy still has a lot of football left in him. I think we're going to see a lot against the Jets.
Man, Brew, you make a great point, and I love it. Listening to Chris Mortensen talk about Le'Veon Bell, like, he's got, Mort knows something. I think they're going to feature Andy Reid. You learned this as a coach growing up, that if somebody transferred schools or they were a different team or whatever, that guy is going to be super motivated. Don't kid yourself. They can say all week long that it's no big deal. Oh, yes, it is. And you're going to put him out probably as a captain, and you're going to feature this guy. I expect him to bring it.
You used to always make the guys the captain for the game.
Absolutely, and I saw it. I had an old football coach, Bob Mazie, taught me that a long, long time ago, and Andy knows that, and he knows Le'Veon. This is important to him. He never used him last week in the passing game. I think he's going to use him in the passing game this week.
It'll also be interesting to see if he has a couple of long runs today, because in his entire time with the Jets, about a year and a half, 1 over 15 yards. He had 2 in his debut with the Chiefs, so already beat that really quickly. I'm still never going to get over the visual, though, of that graphic with Jets willing to trade anyone. Matt made a good analogy. He said it's like Scrabble.
And you just trade in all your letters.
Yeah.
Just give me some new
You'll
letters.
probably get something better. Still to come. Jets still looking for a win. It's about that. TNPlus.com. Well, an old old Browns fan returns to Northeast Ohio today. John Gruden brings his Raiders to town, not far from where he grew up, to take on Baker Mayfield in Cleveland. Browns are 5-2. Las Vegas is 3-3. Derek Carr has quietly been one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL so far, and he's the only one in the top 5 in the league in completion percentage and touchdown to interception ratio entering Week 8. The Browns offense will be without Odell Beckham Jr. after his torn ACL last week against the Bengals. Baker Mayfield led Cleveland to a comeback win without OBJ, throwing a career-high 5 touchdowns in the game. For more on this important matchup for both teams, we go to Cleveland, where we find our Kimberly Martin. Good morning, Kimberly.
Hey, Sam. Hey, guys. We have it all here. We have rain. We have wind. We have cold weather, if my hat is any indication, and it's going to get colder. The wind gusts are going to pick up to like 50 miles an hour, and there's even talk of lake effect snow in the area. John Gruden, like you said, Ohio native, he said you can't possibly replicate this type of weather in Vegas. But the Browns, they love it here. They're 4-0 at home and looking to end their go into their bye week, on a high note. But without Odell Beckham, what do you do? How do you replace him? And the answer is you can't, at least not with one guy. The message all week has been a committee approach. We want all the receivers to participate. That is what Kevin Stefanski said. They need a contribution from everyone. And one of those guys is Rashard Hollywood Higgins. Last week, he caught all 6 of his targets for 110 yards. And even though he just entered the starting lineup, his connection with Baker dates back to Baker's rookie year. I talked to Higgins about their special connection, and he said they're more like brothers. In fact, they are so close, Sam. He said, I know Baker so well, I feel like my mama gave birth to him. So we'll see today if that chemistry plays out on the field in this inclement weather.
Yeah, I got some questions about that one. I'm still hung up on Kimberly telling us 50-mile-an-hour winds. That's no joke, so we'll see how that affects the game plan. But let's get back to what she was talking about. I mean, it's the question of the week. How does this Browns offense look without OBJ? Matt, how do you think it will look different out there today?
Listen, this is obviously a terrible thing for the Cleveland Browns losing OBJ, but I think this will actually give us a better version of Baker Mayfield. As crazy as that sounds, like I've felt this push and this pull of getting a star player his touches. And then when you saw no Baker Mayfield last week, you saw him spread the ball around more. Check this out, okay? Here's a 3rd and 5. You got off coverage to the trip side, off coverage, and then you got press coverage down to OBJ. Take the off coverage. This is a gimme every single time, but instead, Baker's trying to feed the star down here. You got the first down. There's times to do it. There's times not to do it. When targeting OBJ, Baker's numbers are actually way worse. So here's after OBJ's out of the game. This is what I think Cleveland probably wants to be offensively anyway. Hard run action. Maybe the naked bootleg too. The linebackers know it. Hey, we're going to play the naked bootleg. Or then plays off of the naked bootleg. Here's a rookie tight end with tons of separation. Lots of yards. Spread it around. Let the offense work. Committee approach. All those things that Stefanski has learned in his career. Check this out. Jarvis Landry, another great wide receiver. Running up on the 12-yard curl route. This is called 22Z in. Kareem Hunt from the I backfield. We need you to do your job. Get wide on that wide route and open it up for your guy Jarvis. Simple 1-2-3 triangle read, guys. And look at Jarvis. He knows it. He's smart. Hey, Kareem, that's all you, man. That's all you. You did your job, so I got fed. And the ball, I think this team's a tougher team to